I'm very
Sounds
curious
so
about
sincere.
get the government out of it entirely.
Right.
What do
that
you do with
possible?
the people who are atheist and refuse to get married by a priest or by a minister
Well, that's my
or by
point.
whatever?
That's exactly my point. If somebody wants to be married or civilly unionized or however we want to discuss it,
I like
they,
that.
they should have the right to. They should have the right to be able to enter into an official domestic partnership. And I think Sarah's right. That's a good phrase. An official domestic partnership with all the rights and privileges and responsibilities attended to it by law. If that same couple wishes to get married under some religious tenets, they can do so as well. They can do it separately, but that priest, that rabbi, that minister, those religious individuals should not have the legal authority, in my view, to create this contractual arrangement of a
Well,
domestic
don't
partnership.
Well, that's
Don't they
interesting.
have
I
that
interpret
authority?
your remark the exact opposite way.
Oh, no,
Exact opposite way.
That's why I'm saying, look, I think that ideally, then there should be the government should get out of organizing or blessing these partnerships entirely, and then people can go get married by their priest and have a happy life together, and yet they don't have any of the legal benefits attached to it. We're well beyond that. That's not going to happen. That has to rewrite tax law. That has to rewrite issues with children, survivorship. There's just so much there. It's not going to happen. So therefore, you have the atheist who doesn't want to get married by any religious individual. You go to the judge. You go to somebody who is legally authorized to enter the two people into the contractual partnership. And then they don't have to go anyplace else because they're not religious. But those who are religious and want to get married under the chuppah like I did can do so.
So
But
hasn't
hasn't the government essentially given the authority to religious people?
That's
on
my
their
point.
behalf?
That was exactly my
Well,
point.
shouldn't- how can you stop that?
The institution of a civil marriage that's available here in this country as well as should be. But we've also allowed that institution of marriage where lots of legal stuff is attached to it to be overseen by religious institutions. I mean, I know we're not talking about abortion, but at the end of the day, the concept of abortion is still legal in this country, and yet there are religious institutions that, as a rule, are completely opposed to it and are looking to change the civil rule about that medical procedure. In my view here, marriage is a sacrament. The government should not be in the business of dealing with religious sacraments. All the various religious movements can do whatever they want, marry whomever they want under whatever rules they want to do it. And if I want to go, as I said, get married under the chuppah, under the laws of Moses in the state of Israel, which are lines right out of the Jewish wedding, fabulous, I can do that. But that shouldn't have any legal binding effect. I could, if I'm going to go get married legally, I should just go to the Justice of the Peace, sign the piece of paper, and under the laws of the state of Ohio, I was married in the state of New Jersey. Those are the laws that should govern my legal contractual relationship. The fact that I happen to get married by a rabbi should be wholly separate from the legalities. So therefore, you get, a Jewish divorce is very different than what a legal divorce is. Yet they're all tied together too. So in my view, the government should not be involved in sacraments. Religion should be separate. It's a violation of church and state. And to the extent that the government is prohibiting same-sex unions, or many governments are, it's in essence, in my view, adopting particular religious views to the...
As opposed to other
Yes, I think that's
and
a
so
good
that
point.
becomes a
Separation
First
of church and
Amendment. Yeah,
state.
so that becomes a First Amendment issue.
But
Yeah.
I also think in that same context, we need to think about what they've done with common law marriages. We have expanded our interpretation.
LAW law. There's
Yes.
a law.
Yeah, but there are circumstances where the surviving spouse has rights because the name was used and etc. I don't know about federal benefits, but I'm saying when you talk about the religious ceremony, and now I'm thinking about this whole concept of domestic partnerships. When you talk about the religious ceremony, that's fine. But what happens when one of the partners dies? let's talk about a state, and you have the religious ceremony, but you don't have the civil ceremony, so you don't have any of the rights that you would have if you would have the civil ceremony, and that's one of the issues that is coming up as it relates to domestic partnership.
That issue is coming up more and
Well,
more.
and
with
benefits.
Hang on, with couples who decided not to get married.
Yes,
which
yes.
is the largest, quickest growing
You know what,
area
guys,
of.
But that's a choice.
And that's what I
doing
meant when
here-
I said this
What
institution
you're
of
doing is
marriage.
you're oscillating between the institution in some emotional or quasi-religious or religious way and the legalities. You're oscillating between
I'm
the
not
two.
oscillating. I'm
She's
suggesting,
drawing a very
Thank
clear
you.
line.
Different
I
sets
am
of
not oscillating.
obligations.
Yes.
In my view,
So
they
you're
are
saying there
separate.
should be two individuals present at every marriage?
I don't
No.
know about two individuals. No,
Not
I'm
necessarily.
suggesting. No, I'm
Two
suggesting.
Well, it takes
that I
two
can-
for a wedding.
Two procedures anyway.
Two procedures, and the legal procedure can be something as simple as going down to the county courthouse, signing the paperwork, and having a judge or somebody or a notary public or somebody authorize.
Don't we already require that?
We
It's
do.
called
But
marriage
in
license.
some
Yes, but it
states,
doesn't
they
have to be
do
done by a
not
priest.
No, of
allow
course not. I agree with you,
same-sex.
That's what she's arguing.
Right.
In some
So-
states, they
so
do
in
not
the way
allow
I
You
say
want
same-sex.
to obligate
So the
Any
yourself.
license should be adequate in and of itself.
The license should
It
be
is
adequate.
adequate
It is
in and of
adequate
itself.
of itself, but because
Are
the-
you married when you get the license? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
you are absolutely.
Even if you
No,
don't
when
have
the
the
judge
ceremony.
signs it.
Yes.
If I have a minister who is not licensed by the state sign it, then I'm married in the eyes of that church, but not in the
state.
eyes of the state.
What I'm saying.
And all the things you
Oh,
brought up
boy,
with
yes.
inheritance, what have you.
Somebody has
those
to
are
be
become
authorized by the
problematic.
state. The way we have the system now is that the state, whether it be literally a state or the federal government, is granting that authority to religious institutions who are by their own background,
By
practice,
default,
etc.
really.
Yeah, but well, it doesn't have to be by default. Are most of these institutions, many of them are inherently opposed to same-sex unions. It's against the Bible, it's abhorrent, it's all kinds of things. I don't care what those religious institutions believe. If they don't want to marry two men, two women,
They don't have to.
they don't have to.
Right.
But what we've now done here is because we as a society are adhering to what's essentially a religious view, we're not allowing those civil unions to take place between
That's interesting.
same-sex
Bonnie.
couples.
You're essentially
Or
citing
between
the First
polygamous
Amendment.
couples.
I'm saying any two people who wish to engage in the contractual relationship of a domestic partnership
That's right.
should be allowed to do so under the law.
Otherwise, you're in violation of the First Amendment.
Exactly. If those
Go
two
argue at the Supreme
people-
Court, Bonnie. That's terrific.
If those two people want to go off to their church and get married, God bless, enjoy
Yes.
yourself. But there shouldn't be a prevention from any two people who are willing to assume the responsibilities of the domestic partnership, what we call marriage today. There are certain legal rights and certain responsibilities, and David outlined them. They should, by that token, if they're willing to accept the legal responsibilities, they should also be able to access the legal rights and privileges that go along with that.
I like your argument. Your argument is a fresh, bright distinction. It's a nice, clean, clear argument.
I
The
think
First
it's-
Amendment
And
argument.
it's a
good argument as to why I should be able to marry a second, third, and fourth wife.
Exactly.
Same argument
First
works for
Amendment.
me.
Now
See,
I am
extremists like you create the
truthfully,
problem.
I